Texting is something that most of us do every day, and some of us might even do every hour. And just show of hands, when was the last time, or when have you received one of these? Was it recent, or most of you, it was probably a long time ago. I mean, I know the last handwritten letter I received was from my grandmother on my birthday about 3 years ago. So handwritten letters aren't really widespread these days. Instead of writing letters, we usually do this. We write a text message. And it's not just teenagers that do it, and it's not just girls that do it. I mean, even President Obama's been known to send a message or two every now and again. So it's safe to say that texting is pretty widespread, and that pretty much our whole world probably texts, like the developed world at least. So since texting is so widespread and since so many people do it, it's safe to say that it's revolutionizing how we communicate and our language and our relationships, and it's having a significant impact on our society today. So we've fashioned a new language based on abbreviations and efficiency, and we're trying to fit as much meaning in as few characters as possible. And that can be a good thing sometimes. But for some things like ILY, does that really replace I love you? Is that really a good enough replacement? I mean, yeah, it's faster and more efficient, but it doesn't have quite the same emotional fervor as saying I love you in person would have. So it's, yeah, we've become more efficient, but efficiency isn't necessarily always a good thing. But texting hasn't just changed how we talk and our language and stuff, it's also changed relationships. I mean, you could be getting along great when you're texting, you could be sending little flirting messages and doing the whole smiley face thing, and you can go on for hours and hours, and it can be going great. But when you finally get face to face with that person, you realize that it's not what you thought it was. You're not as close to them as you thought you were, because when you're texting, it's like you can edit your response and you can spend a couple minutes deciding what you want to say. But when you're in person and you actually have to smile with your real teeth instead of a parenthesis, it's different, and it can be more than a little awkward. So it's interesting how texting has changed relationships and how it can be a deal breaker, because if you get too close by text, you might realize that you can't get close in person because you only know what they want you to know. You don't know the real them. And you only know their little fake smileys on text. You don't know their real smile and what really makes them laugh. And speaking of smileys, these change everything. You can have just a simple hey, but when you add one of these, it can turn into a flirtatious hey, or it can turn into a friendly hey. It can be interpreted in so many different ways. I mean, you could tease someone and use one of these. I mean, you could get away with insulting someone and use one of these and it'll be okay. Because these smileys, they say everything that your face and your tone of voice and your body language can't say. Because you can't see that stuff when you're texting someone. All you see is the words on your cell phone. So a lot of emotion is packed into this one little colon and parenthesis. But you have to be careful when you send these, because sometimes you might send one of these on accident. And this is what I like to call the kiss of death of texting, because nothing can be interpreted so many different ways than the winky smiley, because you could easily make someone think that you're in love with them just because you sent them a wink. They could be completely enamored by your winky smiley. Or they might be a little creeped out, because if they don't like you like that, they might think you like them like that. And this can cause a lot of problems. So you have to be careful when you use a winky smiley. There's a time and a place to use it, and sometimes it's good, but sometimes it just complicates things. And I just want to finish with this quote because I thought it really summed up what texting has done to our society. And it says, "Texting, killing genuine human interaction 2 thumbs at a time." And I think it really highlights the fact that yes, there's a time and a place for texting, but texting can't really ever replace genuine human face-to-face interaction. So, thank you.